Hi everyone, it's me again, and nice to meet you here. And it's gonna be our lecture 10, and we'll be discussing here translation of ASL, which is which stands for sign language. We'll be talking about the translation of sign language, okay? What's sign language? Types of sign languages, sign language interpreting, and difficulties in translating signs. So, let's get started. Sign language interpreting is the use of a sign language to convey the information contained in the program audio, speech, and other important sounds to viewers who are deaf or for whom sign language is their first language. Sign languages uh, use hand and finger shapes, movements, body language, and facial expressions to convey the meaning. Sign languages differ from country to country. For example, Irish deaf people use Irish sign language. In India, people use Indian sign language. So different sign languages have their own unique grammar, semantics, and vocabulary. Even within a country, there are often regional dialects and differences in some of the signs used by different cultural groups. Some sign languages, such as British Sign Language, which is shortened like BSL, are languages in their own right with no direct mapping between the spoken language of the land and the local sign language. Other sign languages are more closely related to the spoken language or are a direct visual representation of a spoken language. It's a commonly held misconception that the provision of subtitles removes the need for sign language interpreting on television. This is false for two reasons. Sign language is the first language of many members of the deaf community who may be far less fluent in reading the written language, especially for those sign language which are substantially different from the spoken language in grammar, semantics, and vocabulary. It's therefore as important to them as a foreign translator of an English program would be to a non-native English speaker. Language is not just about communicating speech. It is also about emotion, concept formation, identity, and belonging. To a person who learned sign language as a child and uses it as their primary form of interaction with their peers, only sign language can communicate these vitally important aspects. Sign language can be used in television programs in two ways. As the native language used by the program's presenters, contributors, and characters, or as an interpretation of the speech and other sounds contained in the program. A sign language interpretation is usually created separately from the program and must be added into the program video before delivery. An exception is where a signer is present during the recording, such as when a sign language interpreter travels with a news reporter to the scene of a news story. As with other access services, a sign language interpretation can be provided in either an open or closed formats. In the open format, the program video is delivered as a single track in which the image of the signer is included within the video and is seen by all viewers. In the closed format, the sign language interpreting is delivered as a separate stream associated with the program, but in a way that allows the individual viewer to turn the service on or off at any time. Closed sign language interpreting can be achieved in one or two ways: broadcast mix or receiver mix. In broadcast mix, two separate video streams are delivered, one containing the image of the signer and the other without the image. The viewer simply closes between the two. I'm sorry. The viewer simply chooses between the two. In receiver mix, the video of a signer is delivered as a separate stream with synchronization information. The viewer's receiver can then mix the two and display the result at the request of the viewers, of course. Receiver mix potentially gives viewers greater control over how the signer is displayed, allowing them to choose the preferred position and the size, for example. It also has the benefit that the sign language track can be delivered using a different means. So terrestrial broadcasters with restricted bandwidth can deliver the video signing over IP, for example. This requires a hybrid receiver with the ability to mix the two streams. In contrast to subtitling and audio description, there is relatively little research and guidance available on sign language interpreting in television. Some of the guidelines here are therefore somewhat speculative, paralleling issues that have been recognized for these other content access services and may be expected to be similar for sign language interpreting. They may therefore provide the less guidance on what constitutes best practice and fewer tried and tested techniques for achieving that. But they have been included in order to direct attention to the issues even in the absence of clear solution. So thank you very much for your attention. That was all what I wanted to say in this video. And if you have any questions or any ideas, please leave your comments under this video. And I will be, as usual, I will be expecting your video presentations on our specially created channels and groups. Thank you very much. It was nice meeting you. I hope to see you next time.